And we are live. Hey, everybody. Happy Tuesday to you. It's Tuesday Talks. We are back. It's been a while. It's been too long, right? It's been a really crazy schedule for the last couple of weeks, and I am just super pumped about being here with you all today. And I've got a lot of stuff to talk about, a lot of stuff to go over. I've got some pretty exciting things that I've been able to do here in the last several weeks, but boy, it's been a blur. And I just thought, you know what, I got to get on today and make sure that we actually make this happen because there's just too much stuff going on to not tell you guys about. So first of all, if you're just new to the show, if you're watching for the first time, one of the things we like to do is I like to have everybody tell us where you're watching from, and also just because it helps me a lot, let me know if you can hear the audio okay. Okay, so I'm trying out some different stuff this time. By the way, I'm working on a new studio setting, and just had some different schedule changes, had some different, really some different opportunity changes that have kind of had me in this swirl for the last several weeks, maybe even for the last couple of months. But things are beginning to settle, things are beginning to move into the right places, as they always will if you're just patient, if you'll walk through it, not get frantic, not panic. And so, really good to be here with you guys today. I see we got Tanya is here. Oh, she's in Bend today. Cool. Tanya, I wonder what the weather's like there. Hopefully it's beautiful. Hopefully it's not roasting hot. But Bend, Oregon, beautiful place to go visit. I don't know if I want to live there. I've thought about it before, but I just don't think I want to live in Bend. But Bend, Oregon, Tanya checking in from there. Where else are you guys watching and listening from? Where are you watching at? Wyatt says, hey, John, audio sounds good. Mountain Home. Perfect. Wyatt, glad to have you here, man. Appreciate you joining us today. Mountain Home is an area that, if you guys aren't aware of, Little Mountain Home, Idaho is about to blow up. And when I say about to, I mean probably, if not sooner than this, then certainly within the next 5 to 7 years, I think you're going to see some massive changes happen in Mountain Home. And I happen to know that from some very good inside sources that I have. And it's good to get ahead of the curve if you can, right? So if you guys are able to buy up Mountain Home, and especially if you're able to get some deals on large tracts of land that can be owned for development, there's already big developers moving in that area. And really, the problem is with Boise and everything that's on the east side of Boise is Micron is right on the edge of the eastern side of town. There's no, it's too expensive because of all the volcanic rock and all the different things that go on. It's really expensive to try to put in new developments out on that side of town. So the next major place that has, you know, your Walmarts, your Starbucks, all that stuff is going to be Mountain Home. It's only about, I don't know, 45-minute drive to Micron from there. So depending on how fast you drive. So Wyatt, Mountain Home's a great place to be. If you ever find any deals out there, let's work on it together, because I'm actually working on getting my own marketing campaign set up out that way specifically for those reasons. It's gonna be a big deal eventually. Let's see here. Eric is watching. Hey, Eric, say hi to my buddy Eddie. Eric is watching from Aloha, Oregon. And by the way, if you guys are looking at that, you're saying, John, you said it wrong. It's Aloha. No, if you say Aloha, then we know you're not from there, right? So, Eric, if I'm wrong, then you correct me. But you gotta have it pronounced right, right? It's Aloha for whatever reason. So good to have you here today, man. I appreciate you. I think it's been a long time since I've seen you at a meetup, so hopefully we'll get to see you out there sometime soon. And then Carolyn, watching from Caldwell. Carolyn, good to have you on today, sister. Hope you're doing well, and I hope that life is treating you right. Boy, there's so much, guys. I thought today, how in the world do I even? Hey, there's Sherry. Good to see you, Sherry. I was hoping you were going to be on today. Yes, you are correct. It's been a minute. And it's actually been, I think it's been a couple weeks since we did a Tuesday Talks. So good to have you guys all here with us. And if you're just jumping on, please go ahead and just clock in and say something. So let us know where you're watching from and what you're up to. So Wyatt says he's got to fix and flip in Mountain Home. I'll message you about later. Awesome, love it. Let's work on it together, and let's see if we can make some money together. I just came from a fix and flip that I'm working on. Oh, there's Andy checking in, local home buyer. Andy, if you feel comfortable sharing your website here, feel free to do that. Andy has got a really cool little website, and he's actually getting leads, and the local home buyer website is getting leads. I don't want to take away his thunder, but Andy's been working on some really cool stuff. And if you feel comfortable sharing it here, Andy, then you guys will get first dibs, first access to what he's been working on. David's in Meridian, Idaho. Good to have you here, David. Glad to have you here, local yokels. So I'm broadcasting out of my office in Meridian and working on getting this studio set up a little more compatible for doing interviews and things like that. So guys, there's a lot going on. So let me first of all say that for the last 2 months, we've been doing Tuesday talks, and it's been primarily from a job site location. How many of you guys noticed that? Right? You saw that I was broadcasting from inside a job trailer in my little office on site, and I was on 2 different major work construction sites. And that was an interesting opportunity that I figured would be short term, but it was because of being, knowing some people that needed some help. I was able to jump in and fill a role. And I kind of figured it was going to be temporary, but I didn't think it was going to be this quickly. I got pulled from a site superintendent role working with some guys that are doing development and construction, commercial construction here in the Valley. I got pulled from that into more of a business development role. In fact, they gave me the label of Vice President of Business Development. Ooh, right? Big fancy title, which I learned a long time ago. These titles don't really mean anything. But it is something that I've been entrusted with. And so I wanted to say, first of all, if you guys know of anyone in the state of Idaho or in Arizona that has property, maybe they've got something they're looking to build on their property, particularly if it is commercial construction, I would love for you guys to reach out to me, because I have a whole different tool in my toolbox now that is commercial, retail, residential apartment, any kind of buildings that you guys need done. If it's Idaho or Arizona, particularly around the Phoenix market, I would love to be able to give you guys a bid for building those out. And we have a great team, and the guys that I'm working with are experts in the industry. And I have been blown away, honestly, by the pricing that they're able to build for. So if you guys know anybody that's doing, kind of residential, commercial residential, so it'd be more like apartment complexes, anything that's probably in that, it's going to need to be north of 2 to 3 million. That's probably on the low end of what we would do. But anything at all that's a prospect, just something like, hey, I wonder what this would cost to build. If you guys know of anything at all that's in the Idaho, anywhere in the Idaho market or Arizona. When I say Arizona, I kind of loosely mean the Scottsdale, Phoenix market. We have a full team down there. And so Wyatt, you asking who I'm working with? I'm working with Tecton Construction. And so Tecton companies are the guys that I'm kind of partnered with, and we're building stuff right now in Idaho. We're building stuff right now in Scottsdale. We're building some stuff in the Denver, Colorado area, although we're really trying to focus more on Idaho and Arizona. So if you guys know of somebody that needs a bid, please send them my way. I'd love to be able to give you guys some kind of a referral fee if you know somebody. And these are some pretty. I mean, they're good referral fees. So if we end up landing some jobs, then we'll work something out with you. But the point is that if you know someone that's building something, I would love to be able to help you build it, because we are a professional not home builder, but construction company with a lot of experience in this space, and with a great list of subcontractors, great pricing. And we're just getting stuff just bid out for insanely cheap. Like prices I haven't seen on the construction side. You guys know I've worn the construction hat for a long time. Most of my life I've been in construction of some sort, whether it's residential, whether it's commercial. I did Army housing for junior NCO non-commissioner officers in Fairbanks, Alaska for Army Corps of Engineers. We built out huge projects up there. So Alaska, Florida, Idaho, Oregon, Washington, Tennessee, I've pretty much built, in just about every major region of the country except for the Northeast part. So I've never done anything up in the Northeast of America, but I've also done projects in Papua New Guinea, Fiji, Vietnam, Thailand. Well, I didn't work on the one in Thailand personally, but I was there. It was a part of it and contributed to it. Africa, so Australia. I've been all over the world through construction, which is it's like a whole different chapter. I could write a whole book on just that in my life. And I'm 45 years old. I just became a grandpa recently, if you haven't heard. And so I look at my life and I'm like, wow, I've got a pretty full life already. I've had a lot of great experiences. I've got a lot of great friends, a lot of people that I know, people that I'm able to work with, people that I love contributing to. And I love the fact that you guys are spending some time on your Tuesday with me. So let's make the most of it. If you know somebody that's needing something built, send them my way and let's see if we can get them a bid. So that's probably one thing. Now, because of the fact that I've been in this kind of quasi, like, where am I going to land thing? And by the way, I didn't slow down at all on any of my real estate stuff. In fact, this has just actually helped expedite some projects that I had been working on with some other people. And now we've got a great builder partner, and things are moving very, very quickly. We're getting, like I said, we're getting financing in place. We're getting these senior co-living units that I've been talking about for the last year and a half, 2 years now. We're actually in the process of getting one built. We got the land in place. The gal that I'm working with, she's already got that secured. She's got a great set of prints. We're getting the numbers together. In fact, we have a pretty solid bid, and now we're just getting plans approved, and we're going to build this thing. It's going to be awesome. We're going to try to build 10 to 20 of these things around the state of Idaho over the next 5 to 10 years. So that's kind of the long-term plan, the big vision. But I wanted to also talk to you about senior co-living, of course, as a place for people to go, but then also on the move out side. So if you haven't heard this by now, you should just be aware of the fact that one of the largest financial shifts, one of the largest demographic changes or demographically caused or triggered changes in America is actually not just getting ready to happen, it's happening right now. So you've probably heard the term silver tsunami, and that's really a reference to and whether it's good, bad, or ugly, I don't really determine that, but I know this, that there's a ton of people that are aging out of their personal homes and they're moving into residential living. Now, this is going to be kind of on the 70s to 80s age bracket. Okay. So don't get me wrong. We have people that are living longer than ever before, thanks to modern, medication advancements in technology. We have people that are independent for longer than ever before, which is, pretty cool. But there's also that, which by the way, you have people that are doing pickleball. You got people that are traveling. There's just like this whole industry around seniors. And by the way, seniors is anything 55 plus. So I'm only 10 years away. I'm getting pretty close. I'm looking for that discount, right? I can almost smell it now, right? So, but I'm looking at the senior industry and I'm going, this is such a massive opportunity. There's so much here that can be gained if we get ahead of it, if we position ourselves in the right place at this time right now to get into this industry and be involved. And so some of you guys know this, some of you don't, but I've been working with seniors for the last 6 years. And I have a little niche that I've kind of carved out for myself and something I developed. I call it the transition position method. And that is where I position myself to be the guy that people call when the time comes for that later age, that higher acuity senior that is probably, again, in their mid 70s to beyond. And they literally can no longer live on their own at their own home any longer, and they have to move. And so when that, life event, whether it's the third time they fall on, or whether it's, just some disorientation that's becoming noticed by friends and neighbors, family members, when those types of things happen, there's like this whole series of events that gets triggered and stuff moves very quickly. And it's very confusing. It can be very stressful, not only for the seniors themselves, of course, but also for their family members. And so I've become the guy in my local markets, so Portland primarily and Boise now, where really positioning myself into this unique method that I use to position myself to be the guy that those calls come into. So get this, I don't do any real marketing, although we are going to be changing some of that just because I think there's a bigger picture here. But even if I was just operating on my own, which I have been in this space for the last 6 years, 5 years, and then about a year and a half ago, I started teaching it to some people, and now they're getting leads doing the same exact thing, even in my same markets, which is totally fine. I love working with everybody. I believe collaboration beats competition every time. And so in this particular space of working with seniors, what I'm starting to see happen is I'm starting to see more and more of these calls come in without doing any real major marketing, at least not in the traditional sense. What do I mean by traditional sense? Well, traditionally, if you're going to market, you're going to do either one of two things. You're going to hustle and grind, or you're going to spend. If you have another way of getting leads, I'll wait for you guys to let me know. Okay, you're either going to hustle and grind and do everything organically, do it yourself, or you're going to spend money. You're going to spend money on lists. You're going to spend money on teams. You're going to spend money on ad spend, but you're going to spend money on something, or you're going to do it all yourself, which is fine. I'm not saying one is better than the other. In fact, both of them have their pros and cons. But what I have found is with the transition position method that I've developed is you don't have to do either one. It's really, really crazy. And so what I did was I started teaching a handful of people this. I thought, you know what, maybe it just works for me. I want to find out if this works for other people. So about a year and a half ago, we did the first proximity event in Portland, Oregon. And I had a great 2-day event where we did just some intensive real estate training. We all ate together. It was a very small handful of people. We kept it close quarters. We kept it low attendance numbers for a reason, because we wanted to have everybody in and be able to ask their questions and really get to know each other, which, by the way, has been really cool watching the people that attended with the people that attended the proximity event in Portland. Several of those people have gone on to actually do deals. And so some of them are doing some really big deals. If you guys haven't heard, Caitlin Beals in the Portland area she went out after the proximity event, and her and her husband together flipped, I think it was 10 or 11 houses in less than 18 months, which is crazy. Herself, because her husband kind of does some stuff with some of his partners, but I think Caitlin herself flipped 7 houses in 1 year, leaving the proximity event. Now, Caitlin was clearly motivated. She was clearly like, okay, this is it. I'm doing it. I'm all in. But that proximity event, she went out, and I think it was from within 5 days of the proximity event ending, she had her first deal on her contract. She just went all in. So, but we did that proximity event. We had Pace Morby come in. I had Andrew Zestiger came in. Eddie Chinez came in and spoke. We had Naveen Brown came in, just some great mindset stuff and kind of wisdom track and everything. Super, super cool. I think everybody that attended just got just totally blown away by the value. And then, like I said, we had Pace Morby kind of close it out. It was awesome. If you're in the Portland area and you were there, it was just a really great event. So, but at that proximity event, what I did was I actually told the group there, I kind of did a survey. I said, what are you struggling with? What's the thing you're working on? And one of the things that I got feedback on was the fact that there was this issue that a lot of people were having with generating leads. And I've said it before, so I'm not going to go into all the depths of it here today, but there is a huge difference between a lead and a highly motivated lead. Somebody help me, right? Give me an amen or something, because there is a massive difference between just any old generic lead and a highly motivated seller lead. And so when I talk about highly motivated sellers, very specifically, what I'm referring to is people that need to sell or have to sell, people that have a distressed property, the property is not market ready, or maybe there's some kind of issue with title, or maybe there's some kind of issue with divorce or whatever, right? The property is not just ready to put on the listing tomorrow, right? And then there's a definite timeline that they're working against, whether it's a job change, whether it's health, whether it's, again, the divorce, whether it's foreclosure. There's that. And then there's the other factor, which is they're open to a cash or creative offer. So if you have those 4 factors, right, those are what we call the 4 pillars of a motivated seller lead, then you've got a lead that I want to know about, right? So I because I've been in this space for 10 years now, because I've been doing these broadcasts and these our monthly meetups for the last 5 years consistently. We've just been doing it, grinding it out unless we absolutely couldn't. Because I'm in this space, I get people coming to me all the time, John, I got a lead. Hey, I got a lead. And so I look at it and it's like, well, if it doesn't meet these 4 criteria, then it's really not a motivated seller lead. So just stop and look at the comments. Wyatt says it couldn't be more true. There's a huge difference, right, Wyatt, between a lead and a motivated seller lead. Yep. Yeah, Peggy says amen. Peggy says, is this live, John? Yes, Peggy, this is live. So glad you could join us here today. So anyway, whenever I hear people say they're struggling with leads, and I started looking at what I was doing, I was like, man, I'm not struggling with leads. In fact, I've got, as anytime I want to go get these leads, I just go do this transition position method. I employ it, I activate it, and it works. And I get leads, and I don't go chasing them. They come to me, and they're already pre-qualified, pre-positioned, ready to talk to me. It's just this really, really crazy thing. After all the years of being in real estate, all the different things I've tried, I've done bandit signs, cold calling, VA. I had a whole team of VAs working for me during COVID, right? So 2020, I hired a whole team of VAs. I think I had 7 altogether, 5 working, all from the Philippines, and they were great, and we got stuff done. But after all the things I've done, Google Ads, pay-per-click, SEO. In fact, I got 2 leads that came in this morning from my SEO website, johnbuyshouses.com, just simply because it's been out there forever. I literally do nothing to drive traffic to that website. It's just there, and it's been around so long that I get leads on it. Okay, so, but after everything that I've done, okay, Facebook, Meta, everything that I've done, nothing beats these leads. Okay, that's the way it is. And so I started saying, okay, if there's people that are struggling with these leads, I took a handful of people out of my proximity event, and I said, hey, I want to do a beta test with you guys. I want to see if this works for you or if it's just for me. And so we did training for the last year, and for the last year and a half, the people that have been learning this and actually doing it, that's the key, right? You can't just learn something, you have to apply it, right? It's like the Bible says in the book of James, right? Faith without works is dead. So you have to learn the thing. Yes, you need to get some head knowledge, but then you have to go employ the thing, put it into action. And the people that have taken action on the thing that I've taught, this transition position method, they have gotten leads and they've closed deals, and I've helped them get those deals across the finish line. And so we're working on one right now. And it's been really, really great. And everybody that's done this has been like, I can't believe this. So I had enough people, they started talking, enough people were coming to me saying, hey, we want to learn how to do this too. I said, I can't just be having the same conversation over and over and over again. So what I did, I put together a little, what I call a mini course, and I officially released it about 2 weeks ago. And I think, if I remember right, I think Tanya actually might have bought it. So what I did is I said, I'm going to put this out there, and the first 10 people that buy it get it for $1. Okay, so they were like the 10, they were gone like I think in like 1 or 2 days. So I'm interested, Tanya, if you were one of the people that bought it. I know I have a list of them somewhere in my CRM, but I haven't looked at it. So because of the fact that I had these people interested, and I had some people that said we want to learn more about this concept, I put it out there, this little mini course. I am going to be selling it. Okay, just full disclosure, I never sell stuff, but I put the work. I put about $5,000 of my own money into creating this thing, building this out, having it filmed in studio, working with someone to do all the editing, and it turned out, I think, pretty good. And it's not even actually fully finished yet, but oh, Tanya says yes, she did buy it. Tanya, I'd love to hear your thoughts if you put it in the chat. Good, bad, or ugly. Like, I don't care. I mean it. Like, so if you're like, yeah, it was all right, then just say that. But this is live, right? This could actually be a disaster for me. But Tanya, throw it in the chat, in the comments, what you thought about the mini course that I did. It's a 4-part series. And obviously, it's not everything. We get that. It's not everything that I've learned, but at least gives you enough to kind of understand like what's going on in this whole space of working with seniors. And we're going to be doing what I believe is going to be kind of like I think I'm going to do some kind of a live event is what I'm thinking about doing, and I've never done this before, but I think I'm going to do a live event where you can come in and kind of just do like a 2-day intensive. So a lot of people are doing challenges and stuff like that, 5-day challenges. I don't want to take that much of people's lives. I think there's a lot of stuff that can be learned and picked up and easily applied very quickly, and just cram it all into 2 days. So that's kind of the game plan, but I'm interested to hear what Tanya thought about that. I said all that to say this, okay? By offering that, and by teaching this, and by doing what I've been doing, I have been in these different rooms where I've learned that real estate investing, this is a little secret, okay? Real estate investing is all about, I'm going to say this really clearly, write it down. It's all about relationships. I know it sounds crazy, but it's all about relationships. In the world of real estate investing, what I have discovered, and this is not new to me, this is not unique. Other people know this. Other people have tried to teach me this. It's not about having all the widgets and having the right tools and the CRMs. It's not about having this big, huge head full of knowledge. It is about establishing the right kind of relationships. Now, I want to disclaim this. Yes, you can do deals and you can get a lot of leads by running major ads and spending a lot of money. But think about this. Even if you're going to be running ads and driving people to like a landing page or an opt-in funnel or whatever, you still have to establish some kind of relationship, right, with the seller. Like you never hear anybody say, just throw your offer out there and be like, walk away, or if you don't like it, right? No, there's this cultivation that takes place. Again, some sellers are more motivated than others, and those are the ones that we want to work with. But the point I'm trying to make here today is the relationships that you build are primarily going to be the key to your success, listen, or your demise. Let's say it again. The relationships that you're building right now in the real estate space, in business, and really in life in general, are going to be the key to your success or to your demise. What do I mean by demise? Obviously, we all understand success. You know, you're the equivalent of the 5 people you spend the most time with and all these things. We get all that. That's all been said before. But what a lot of people don't talk about is that you can reestablish relationships with the wrong people in real estate, with the wrong people in business, with the wrong people in life, and that can be really, really detrimental to you. I have some friends who their son got himself in a really, really bad situation. I'm talking about a bad situation just to illustrate. Their son has got himself into a terrible situation where he's facing some serious, serious time behind bars simply because he was in a vehicle with the wrong people, okay? Had nothing to do with it. Just was in a vehicle with the wrong people. So that's an extreme example, of course, but think about it in your business. Who are you spending time with? Who are you learning from? Who are you networking with? Who are you doing deals with? I have learned that I can't do deals with everybody. In fact, I've learned that I don't want to do deals with everybody. I want to do deals with people who I know, like, and trust, people who have the same values, who have the same goals and objectives. Again, we don't have to believe all the same exact things, but I think there's something to be said for people that are at least in some way, shape, or form on the same track, right, as you are. And so the whole idea of the proximity event was literally to just get in the room with the people that I liked and spend a couple of days together. And boy, what came out of it was honestly, it was pretty incredible. So, and that's still continuing on today, even to the point where this job that I have right now is in some ways tied into that proximity event that we did. I can't get into the details of all that. It's too long of a story, but I'm just trying to tell you guys that you want to really focus on relationships. You want to focus on getting in the right rooms, get this, with the right people. Okay. So I'm kind of giving you guys a little catch up, synopsis on what I've been up to the last couple of weeks. And part of what I was doing last week was, okay, hey, yeah, thanks, Eric. Thanks for coming by, man. Appreciate you. Good on you for whatever you're working on today. And don't forget to tell Eddie, he owes me a phone call, actually. So been waiting on him to call me. Tony said about the transition position mini course method. It was a great introduction to the senior relationships or senior referral transition space. Very, very true. And Tanya, much more to come. So stay tuned. And I've got you on my list because I know you're one of the first people that expressed interest in that. So it's slow coming, but I'm actually working on that part of it too, because I'm establishing some good relationships with people that I can entrust to help me get some of this stuff expedited, because it takes a long time to get stuff together. So, but to the point that I was trying to make a few minutes ago, in my business journey for the last 10 years, I have been in a lot of rooms where I learned a lot of things, but more importantly, the things I learned was the people who I learned it from. And the people I was around at the space, right? Some of the best deals I've done are from people or with people that I just met at an event, at some kind of a meeting. And so what I found out was that relationships are the key, right? You've got to get good deals. You've got to have the right kind of leads, okay? And you need to be working with the right kind of people. So I drove straight here to the house here where I've got my space set up. I drove straight here from a meeting with a guy down in Garden City a few minutes ago, who is very much someone who I think would be a good fit for me to work with. And he has access to a lot of people that are, look at this, it's symbiotic relationship. It's amicable for not just the real estate side, but also for the building side and also for the selling side. And this guy happens to own a company that is literally, just yesterday I was on LoopNet looking for companies to possibly purchase, because I was like, I need this company because it's an integral part of what I'm doing in the business as it expands. I need an auction company. That's what I've been looking for. So I've been looking for an auction house or something that would be able to help me with the selling side of the properties that we're going to be acquiring using the senior transition, the transition position method, right? So I've been thinking I've got to be able to at least start having these conversations. Well, lo and behold, right there in the neighborhood of the house I'm working on, I get introduced to this guy who does auctions. And so him and I met, we walked the house. We found out that we actually have a lot of shared values. We know a lot of the same people. We have a lot of the same goals. We're just doing kind of the same thing, but in two different lanes that we believe are going to be able to merge together here soon. Why am I bringing this up again? Because I think that when you start looking at life and your opportunities and start looking at the rooms you're in, and what I mean by that is the people that you're meeting, the people you're spending time with, the people that you are like, okay, I want to do business with that person. You start looking at the bigger picture, it's just like things just really expand very quickly. I was at an event. We'll go back to, I think it's been about 4 weeks ago now. I was at an event in Salt Lake City. And I was at that event because there was some specific training on things to do with funds and fund management and different vehicles for being able to collect funds and use these different vehicles as a way to acquire more properties and get projects done. So you guys are familiar with funds. And I met a guy who said, hey, you know what? We got talking and we talked about our businesses, how we work together, what we're doing, or the similarities rather. And he goes, I think I have somebody that you need to work with. And I said, well, I'm open for it, whatever. So he puts me on a Zoom call a week later with a guy who's based out of South Dakota, but has an office and a desk down on Wall Street on the stock market exchange floor. He has a studio space there. And so I'm talking to this guy, and this guy says, hey, I want to invite you out to this place that we're doing these projects. And I was like, cool, tell me more. And he invites me to the island of Roatan. Now, I'm going to take a second here. I'm just going to ask you guys. I'm going to look in the comments. Who knows where in the world Roatan is? Have you ever heard of Roatan before? I'm just going to drop it in the comments. Roatan is the name of the island. And I just want to see, have you guys ever heard of Roatan? So let me know in the comments. Yes, no. Give me a yes or a 1 if it's a yes, and give me a 2 if it's a no, okay? I want to see who here has ever heard of Roatan. Take a little drink here, and I'll be checking the comments here because I'm kind of curious, because Wayne says, nope, never heard of it. Wayne, I'm with you on that. I never heard of it. Didn't know where it was. Didn't know if it was, somewhere off of Europe. I didn't know if it was somewhere in I didn't know where it was. Janelle says, gives us a 1. She's heard of it before. So, okay. Sergio says 2. No, he never heard of it. So, guys, I'm kind of with you on the 2s and the nopes side, right? Never heard of it. Never had any desire to go there because I never even knew it existed, right? And I'll tell you, like I mentioned, being able to build all over the world. I've done projects in multiple countries. Fiji, I didn't mention that. I did 2 projects in Fiji. I'll say this, once you get around the world, you see different places and you've seen it. And by the way, I was the guy who loved to travel, right? But here's what I found out is you can once you get out there and see what's out there, after a while, a lot of it kind of starts to blend together, right? There's developed nations, right? There's Europe, there's obviously America. There's certain countries that are fully developed. We would be very familiar with it. Maybe a different kind of culture like Japan, but the idea is they're developed, right? They're kind of westernized. Then there's the developing countries. It used to say third world, but that's not PC anymore. So whatever, right? But I've done a lot of work in developing countries, and I'm like, I've never been anywhere in the world so far that I liked more than America. So I'm not going to spend the money to go travel Europe. I mean, again, I'm not saying like never ever. I'm just saying the way I think is I'm not going to go out and spend the money to go travel to Europe, because I can go just about anywhere in the United States of America, and with the exception of the deep, deep history, I can experience a lot of the same things. Okay. That's how I look at it. I could be wrong. Somebody's going to come on here and say, you're so wrong. Okay. I'm open for being wrong. But I've been to a lot of places in the developing part of the world and in these countries where you kind of get the idea there's the very, very rich, there's the very, very poor, and there's not much in between. And so I didn't really think that I would ever want to go to Roatan, even when it was brought up. I was like, okay. But he said, listen, the best way I can tell you about this place is just come here and see it, and then you'll understand it. And in fact, he said, hey, if you will come, he said, I'm going to be down there in Roatan on the first week of June. He said, if you will come, I'll put you up. We got a beautiful brand new home that's built there. I'll pick you up at the airport. We'll feed you. So the food's amazing here because, there's no pesticides and everything. So it's all totally fresh, very organic, no treatments. He said the food is fresh. He goes, we have a chef that's going to cook. You'll stay at the house on me, no problem. And he goes, well, transportation, I'll just show you what we're doing there. He goes, it's such a big deal that you kind of have to just see it. Like, okay. So I called up another buddy of mine, somebody that I know from the investment space, and I said, "Hey, I know you like to travel." He goes, "Yeah." I said, "I'm looking for somebody to take with me on this trip." And I explained a little bit, and he goes, "Hey, I'm in. I'm working on some stuff, but I could use a break. I'm in." So I said, "Well, why don't you spot my ticket, and then I'll spot your housing, right?" So I kind of worked it out. There's no money out of pocket. I get to go and experience this trip and see what it is that's going on. Because I was in this room in Salt Lake, got introduced to this guy. He introduced me to someone else who I'd never met before. This guy invites me down. And next thing I know, within a short matter of a few days, very unexpectedly, very much not a big scheduled thing, I'm landing in Roatan, and this is an island off of the north coast of Honduras. Now, before you freak out and say, I would never go to Honduras, let me just tell you right now, I felt safer in what is technically part of the nation of Honduras, the country of Honduras. I felt safer there than I did last summer going to downtown Seattle, where I was parking my car in the middle of broad daylight to get lunch with a young friend of mine who I've mentored. We were getting lunch, and while we were there, a car pulled in broad daylight. Two guys got out and started smashing windows and just taking stuff out of people's cars in the middle of the broad daylight. No hurry, no real scuttle. They just went through smashing windows systematically, pulling stuff out of people's bags. Unfortunately, my friend hadn't parked his car yet. So we're like, I was like, don't park here. That happened to us in Seattle, downtown Seattle. And if you guys have been around downtown Seattle, downtown Portland, LA, it's happened to a lot of places is they've gone completely bonkers, right? And so I will say this, I felt safer in Honduras than I did in downtown Seattle or downtown Portland. That's just me. Maybe you're like, oh, you're over exaggerating. Well, whatever you want to think is fine. It's a semi-free country. You can do what you want. But I felt safer in Honduras than I did in downtown Portland, downtown Seattle. And nobody visibly on drugs. Crime is pretty much almost, at least on Roatan, crime is very, very low because of the fact that there is a law there that if you hurt a tourist or if you break the law and it involves a tourist or somebody there is a foreigner, you will be banished from the island, get this, for life. Okay, very, very strict on the nation of Roatan. Now, what's going on, or the country, the island of Roatan, which is a part of Honduras. Peggy says been there 5 times. Awesome. I kind of figured Peggy would have been there. She used to work for, I think, Delta Airlines, and she traveled all over the place. So, so here I am on Roatan. I've been invited. I'm there now. I'm always going and looking for opportunities. I'm kind of a say yes guy, if you haven't figured that out by now. So I'm there. I've got a friend of mine who's a little bit more, he's much, much more conservative, much, much more experienced on bigger projects. He knows how to underwrite stuff. He's just the kind of guy that's also an investor, but he's also the guy that's always looking for a reason to say no. And I'm always the guy looking for a reason to say yes. So we make a pretty good, team. So he's there and we're looking, and I'm starting to understand the reason why this guy said you have to come. Because there are 7 specific developments that these guys are working on. This is an American builder, American investors. Roatan takes USD as the main currency. There's all these laws put in place to protect people. And there's opportunities. There's people, guys, this is not an exaggeration. I talked to the people doing it, like to the owners, not to investors, but to the owners. There's people that are going there and building beautiful luxury homes for somewhere between $400,000 to $500,000 out of pocket cash. $400,000 to $500,000 is not chump change. I get that, but hear me out. $400,000 to $500,000 invested. They're selling these properties for $1.5 to $2 million, usually sold before they're finished with construction. Now, if you're talking about spec houses, okay, if you're talking about building spec homes, meaning a speculative sale, it's not a pre-sold, it's not a custom home build. It's a speculative sale. If you're talking about that, there is zero way that you're going to convince me there's a better opportunity than to build a spec home in Roatan. Okay. Now, again, these are luxury homes. So these are 7 bedrooms, 7.5 bathrooms, living room spaces, socializing spaces, right? Beautiful kitchens. But believe it or not, the cost to build is so low because these guys are bringing in materials directly from Home Depot and directly from other lumber sources and supply houses in the United States, coming straight in from Miami. They order everything they want. It gets put into a shipping container and gets delivered right to the job site, usually within 3 days. I'm not even exaggerating. So I've seen it with my own eyes. I'm like, I can't believe this. They're building American engineered, American designed floor plans with American specs and American up to American specifications with the right kind of rebar, the right spacing, third-party inspections. All this stuff is happening in Roatan, particularly on the east side of the island, where there's not a lot of development. Okay, now this is over on the east side where Michael Douglas has a house, where David Hasselhoff has a house, right? So there's some people out there, but this guy that I went and met, and I got to work with him a little bit. In the 4 days I was there, get to know him a little bit, spend time with him, was in his house, got to meet his wife, got to meet his employees, talk to them off to the side when no one else is around, because I'm doing my due diligence. There's just some amazing opportunities in Roatan. And so here's something, it was like, you know what, I've been thinking about where should I do my next proximity event? And you might see where I'm going with this, right? So my next proximity event, the one that I think helped so many people, the one that we brought these people together, small, intimate setting, the proximity event that we did in Portland in February of 2025. I'm happy to announce it for the first time. The next event we're going to be doing is going to be in Roatan. Okay, dates are still to be determined because I'm trying to get all the arrangements made. But we are going to be doing a proximity event, small group of people, right? Handful of people staying in a private 5-star home type of a setting, right? Luxury home, cooked meals, all this stuff. We're going to be doing that in Roatan. And the dates are going to be announced soon. But if you have any interest in doing that, please DM me and let me know, because I've already got 3 people who said, I'm in, I want to do it. Peggy says, I would love to staff your proximity event in Roatan. Well, Peggy, all of the staff for this is going to be local people, Hondurans, because all of that is already set up with these guys that I'm working with. But we'll see what we can do. Okay, we'll just see what we can do. Peggy, you and I, we know we can always find ways to work together. So But yeah, if you guys are interested in now this is going to be different than the one we did in Portland, as opposed to that was a 2-day event. We're going to be doing 5 nights, and it's going to be 2 days with really it's going to be 2.5 days of real estate intensive training, some specific stuff about AI integrations. I'm actually having an expert come in that I met. This guy is amazing. He's like, kind of clairvoyant type of person. He understands the stuff and knows how to put it into practical application. We're going to be talking about some really, really cool stuff, but the bigger picture, there's also going to be 2 days of just strictly R&R time. So it's going to be awesome. Peggy says best scuba diving in the world. Peggy, I snorkeled for the first time in my life. I rode jet skis out in the Caribbean Ocean. I did, swimming in the ocean. It was amazing. We went out and toured a private island, which is totally undeveloped right now. These guys are going to be putting restaurants on. It's going to be right off of a new port that's being built on the east side. And that port is going to be they've already got contracts to bring in about 1,500 people a day to this island. It's going to be so cool. There's going to be, again, a lot of money to be made for certain people. But if you guys are interested in attending the proximity event, by the way, it's a 2-hour flight out of Houston. So think about that. You can go to a lot of different places. Think about how long it takes to fly to Hawaii. Think about how long it takes to fly across any of the oceans. But this is a 2-hour flight out of Houston, Texas. Very, very safe, very easy. Alaska Airlines just built a massive brand new wing at the airport. So they are actually putting all this in. It's finishing up right now. It's under construction, but they're already using it. So it's easy access in and out. Very, very easy to get into the country. All you need is a passport. And I'm telling you guys, this is going to be something that's going to be epic. So it's going to be a very small handful of people. If you have any interest at all, we haven't really done a lot of announcements. I'm just telling you, this is some of the stuff I've been up to. And I'm already working on who I'm going to have come in and speak, who we're going to be spending the time with. And then 2 days of just strictly you time, R&R, bring your spouse, go hang out, just go put your feet in the ocean. It's going to be awesome. So that's that. Okay. So that's going to be coming up. And then the bigger thing is that I'm working on right now is my senior co-living spaces that we're going to start building. We're working on possibly putting together a fund to have people work with us on this. If you want to be a part owner on these, that's something else we're working on. Guys, there's just so much going on. And this is what I want to kind of wrap all these things up with. Okay. You're like, oh, it sounds like you're living this amazing life. I want to be really clear on this. Okay. I would not be able to experience the things that I've experienced without, number one, the grace of God. Okay. I want to give God all the glory for that. Okay. So I've just been able to experience a lot of things and I just want to give God all the praise. Okay. Absolutely. Thank you, Jesus. And I believe that God has blessed my life richly. Okay. Every good and perfect gift cometh down from the Father of lights, cometh down from above, from the Father of lights, in whom there is no variables, no shadow of darkness. Okay. There's nothing about God that's bad. Everything that God gives is good. That's my little preaching, session here. So I would say praise God for everything. But the other part of it is God gave me enough sense to start putting myself in the right rooms with people who were doing things that I wanted to do, or were doing bigger things than things I'd heard of before. Do you guys know there's people out there doing stuff that's way, way bigger than you have ever thought of? And I know that people love them or people hate them, but think about SpaceX, right? In 2008, they'd had four separate attempts to launch, and they hadn't made it into orbit yet, and they'd all blown up, right? And here's Elon Musk literally on the verge of bankruptcy. That was 2008. That was less than 20 years ago. And SpaceX, of course, went public. Biggest IPO in history. I don't even invest in stock market at all. I don't believe in that stuff. I believe in dirt and real estate. Okay. But the point is, I understand a little bit of it. It's a big deal, right? So you can go from one place to another place. There's people out there doing massive, massive big things. And I'm not even trying to say that you should be doing big things. What I'm trying to say is you might be surprised at the stuff you find yourself doing if and when you put yourself in the right rooms with the right people. Okay. And again, right timing too, because if you're not really doing anything, if you're just getting started, the best thing you can do is find somebody you really like on YouTube, learn from them, and then go do something, right? Put stuff into application. But what I found is that after a while, you start seeing that there's so much opportunity out there. There's so many bigger things out there than just what you thought was possible. And being in the right rooms with the right people is what really, really has created some major transformation in my life and opened up some major doors of opportunity for me. So if you guys are kind of trying to figure out what to do right now, maybe you're just getting started, or maybe you're feeling like you're stuck a little bit. Why don't you look at getting in a room with somebody, getting in a room with someone who you think you can learn from, someone who you think would be valuable, someone who you think would be a good person to learn something from, in the sense of, like, they don't just talk the talk, but they're also walking the walk. They're not just talking about how to do it, but they're actually doing it themselves. They're helping other people do it. If you find someone like that and it's someone you're compatible with, someone you mesh with, right? I had a call with somebody 2 weeks ago. I was kind of testing out some different media buyers and stuff like that. And I was talking to him, and I knew within 30 seconds of being on the phone with this guy, we had a 15-minute call scheduled. I was like, nope, not going to work. I just know for a fact right off the bat, me and this guy are not going to jive. We're going to clash big time. So right room with the right people, and again, at the right time. A lot of people aren't ready for the next big step, but you should be at least taking some step, right? So anyway, that's what I wanted to catch up with you guys on today. We're talking about if you need building projects done in the Treasure Valley or Scottsdale or Phoenix market, really anywhere in Idaho or Arizona, but those are the primary markets, Treasure Valley and then that Phoenix market. If you are looking to kind of break out of where you're at and you're feeling kind of like in a funk, or you're feeling stuck, or you're feeling like you don't know where to get started, you might want to consider getting into a room. You might want to consider coming to Rotan with us. I don't know if that fits for you. We could talk about that offline. We'll talk about budget, what's all involved. But again, right now we don't even have dates quite nailed down yet, so we're still working on that. But it's going to be a great opportunity for the handful of people that come. If you are interested in finding the best, what I call America's best seller leads, working with seniors as they need to move and transition out of their house, you might want to consider the transition position method. That is a very, very simple, easily digestible course that I've put together just to answer all these questions. And then we're talking about doing maybe like a 2-day intensive. If you're interested in that, let me know. Make a comment below, or send me a DM. And I just want to encourage you guys, there are people out there that you can serve, people that you can help. And if you'll do it the right way with the right attitude, you will make money doing it. Surprisingly enough, there's people out there that will pay you and will be totally fine with you getting paid if you're just providing a great service to the people that need it the most at a time in their life when they don't know what to do. Okay, so that applies not just with seniors, that applies with so many other things. So I want to encourage you guys to get out there, do something really, really cool, do something big, do something small, just do something. Don't sit around and just watch another YouTube video. Don't sit around and just say, well, I need to buy another course. Go out and do something. And if you're like, I really do need to buy another course, okay, maybe my course is for you, maybe not. But the point I'm trying to make is do something with the time and the resources that you have, because this life only comes around once, and you got to make the most of it while you can. So appreciate you guys being here today. Thanks for joining with me. We're right at the top of the hour, so I'm going to let you get back to work, get back to the things that are important to you. Appreciate you watching. If you have any comments or if you have any questions, feel free to just post it here in this whatever format you're watching on, and I do go back and read all the comments personally. So appreciate you. Thank you guys, and I will talk to you on the next one. See you. God bless.